everybody. This is Boxing Bros UK. Here's the boss, Chris. This is my co-host, Andrew the Boxing Brain.
Hello.
The topic of the day is it's a roundup of the weekend's boxing. What the fuck was all that about on the weekend? I don't know. I feel not all American boxing, but I feel sorry for American boxing because, like, you watch Conor Benn, Eubank Jr. last week, yeah, English fighters, English dust up, and then you go to America and you had 4 fights. One was undisputed, and they were all shit, every single one of them. Just goes to show we are the greatest boxing fans, and our fighters have got heart. If we don't have all the ability in the world, we've got the heart and the toughness better than any kind of fighters in the world, especially America. Ain't got no heart. Your fighters ain't got no heart and soul, man. They're just pathetic.
Were you not entertained, guys? Were you not entertained? I mean, that might be a good place to start. Like, what is going on before we will just cover this quickly? Like, what is going on with these American fighters at the moment? Like, you know, outside of even Shakur Stevens stinks the place out half the time, and outside of Keyshawn Davis and Terence Crawford, you've just got Pitbull Cruz maybe, but he's Mexican really anyway. You know, Garcia, Haney, you know, Jared Anderson, just across the board, Tank Davis, Chris, just, you know, awful, isn't it?
Do you know what it is? Like, I hate to say it, it's not all because of him, but it's the Mayweather effect. Let's keep it low, yeah. Let's fight for the most money, yeah. So what Mayweather would do is he would win, he would cherry pick someone, he would win and stink the place out, but he would win, yeah. Towards the end of his career, cherry pick, win, and stink the place out. And then what that did is it got the pay-per-view numbers up because people hated him because they were like, "You're boring, you're shit," and they wanted to see him lose. Yeah. But it's like I always say, if you haven't achieved anything in boxing, no one wants to see you lose. Let's not forget, before he did all this, he destroyed Ricky Hatton in Vegas, made him look like an average nobody, really. Let's have it right. He beat Shane Mosley. He beat all these great fighters, and then he started being an arsehole.
Yeah.
And all the other boxers are influenced by that. Look at Canelo. Look what he's doing now. Exactly what Mayweather did towards the end of his career. Canelo's doing the exact same thing. Exactly the same. Cherry picking, bringing people up from weight classes. Who invented the catchweight? It was Mayweather. He invented the catchweight. I think Canelo even fought him at a catchweight when they fought. Like, it just so that he can have the advantage, and he's fighting a name, but it's really a cherry pick and there's rehydration and all that shit. And they just that's what it is, and everyone's influenced by that. They don't want to look at Boots Ennis.
Yeah. He's the other one that I suppose is doing all right, to be fair. But
this weight 1 minute, then he wants to be undisputed at this weight. Then actually, I don't know what I want to do at this weight. I'm just happy that I won after his unified. It's just a joke. No one's fighting because they want to be a world champion. Everyone's fighting because they want money. And if that's what you're fighting for, this is what happens. What we just seen last weekend. Dog shit fights. Every single one.
Yeah. I think it did. You're right with the Mayweather analogy. I mean, there's a damage limitation thing going in there, and there's so much to cover, and we're trying to round this up because, and this is partly what we wanted to start with, is that, you know, we would have had full intentions, like we normally do, of breaking each fight down, giving it a 10-minute video on each one, and none of them, outside of Teofimo Lopez, who put on a masterclass at the end, but didn't exactly set the world alight, none of them deserved their own review. There was no way me and Chris were going to sit down and break down it because there's nothing fucking to review. There's nothing to review. That is the worst weekend of boxing I've seen, and just to put that in there, Chris actually told me this, and then I went and looked at the stats. 3 out of 5 fights over the weekend are in the lowest punches thrown. I'm not sure about landed, lowest punches thrown ever of all time. 3 out of 5 just this weekend. Let that sink in, people. Right, and I'll just give the stats here now. Right, that's to go with Canelo Skull. Everyone, you know, Haney, we'll get onto that later. We'll start with this, right? Canelo, for 152 punches, landed 56. 48 of them were power punches, single shots. Skull didn't do much better, 293 and 55. Skull landed 27 jabs. Canelo, right, because people are going to, all the commentators still gassing up Canelo. Let's have it right. Like, Skull was going to do what he was going to do. Canelo, Chris, in 12 rounds, landed 8 jabs, according to CompuBox. 8 jabs. That's not even 1 jab a round. What?
Terrible.
How can you not land 1 jab a round? So, give me your reaction to that, because just to double check these stats, I'm pretty sure they're right.
It's just, you couldn't make it up. Imagine on Friday, yeah, you spent about 3 hours of your life watching this great card, yeah. And let me tell you something. Sorry.
Accidents happen. It's all good.
Yeah. So, first of all, let's start with the Times Square thing, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's break it down.
The whole point was to create a great atmosphere, yeah? Give something back to the fans. You didn't let them watch the fucking fight. You've got all these people in Times Square, and the fight's supposed to be on all the screens around the arena, yeah? You just let all your fucking mates in, all your celebrity rich friends in, yeah, to watch a fucking fight, who are all casuals and a lot don't even know anything about boxing. And then you've got all the real boxing fans, the American boxing fans, stood outside having to watch the fight on their fucking phones. Because originally, the fight was supposed to be on all the screens, you know, around. So you've got all these people in Times Square who can't watch the fight. So there was no atmosphere. Because I don't agree with it normally, but let me tell you, if them guys were getting booed, like they normally get booed when they do that shit, they might have fucking put on a bit more of a performance. Or they might have given themselves a kick up the arse and tried to make it a bit more of a fight. But there was no atmosphere. It's like COVID. It was like COVID fighting. In fact,
yeah,
Garden were better than that.
You know what? It's so, because me and Chris were discussing this quite a lot. Yes, we thought we got to try and save our energy for the video, and I'm almost kind of like deflated this morning because I was all like angry yesterday. Do you know what? Guys? And I know sometimes you people tuning in and our subscribers probably want to see me and Chris get irate, and are probably looking forward to seeing us get irate, and I probably will as the video goes on. But I'm so deflated after that. I mean, at the Times Square experiment didn't work. I can understand why they did it. I don't want to see us doing Trafalgar Square over here, Piccadilly Circus, fucking Camden Market. I don't want to see it. Just doesn't work. It's an experiment. I understand why they tried it, but please don't do that again. Stadium, arenas only. Thank you very much. Yeah, Chris, you made some really good points there. I don't even know. There's so many. That's why it was so difficult to know what videos to do. So we're trying to round up because there's so many things to talk about. Turkey, the money, and we'll get onto that. But starting with, because to structure it, you brought up, let's start with obviously Friday night. So the Times Square card. So first of all, Haney versus Ramirez, Chris. One of the 3 in the lowest bottom 5 punches thrown of all time. PTSD for Haney, a little bit. Post-traumatic stress disorder in there. Running away. I mean, that was the first stinker of the weekend, wasn't it? I think was that before Garcia Romero? I'm not. It doesn't matter what one was before anyway. I can't even remember that. Put it this way, Chris fell asleep after about the 2nd or 3rd round. So
It was terrible.
What does that
I
do?
was like, I was watching it and I was thinking, what's going on here? Like, I thought he's scared. He is scared. And Ramirez was shit. He didn't. It's just Haney didn't set his feet once. He just threw a jab out. Um, he was fighting some Cuban tap dancing style. He just, and like, I can kind of give him the benefit of the doubt because he got knocked out heavily. He's been inactive, but let me tell you, this is him now for the rest of his career, being a bottle job. He's moved up in weight, got more power. Like, I don't want to see this shit, him fighting. People didn't want to see him fight before he fought Garcia, but then he started to let his hands go a little bit more when he fought Regis Prograis, looking good at a higher weight. Now, he's absolutely like a scared rabbit, running around, not putting no weights in his shots, not doing nothing. And Ramirez was terrible as well. He wasn't even trying to cut the ring off. He was just happy to follow him around like some sort of dope. Like, he weren't trying to cut the ring off.
Exhibitions and sparring, Chris, all weekend. Exhibitions and sparring all weekend. I mean, there was a lot of tying up in the Haney Ramirez fight. I mean, I said to you on the phone, there was more tying up in that fight than a fucking bondage party. I mean,
this is what Haney did, yeah. He danced around, yeah. And then if he managed to land a 1-2, as soon as he's landed the 2, as soon as that 2 hit his fist, he's tying him up so he can't hit him back. Every time. And then they'd wrestle, get split up, and then he'd dance around again. And it was boring.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe he had the nerve to laugh at Ryan Garcia's performance when just because you won, you was dog shit, absolute dog shit.
Like, you know, I mean, it was like prime Vladimir Klitschko, and look, I was a Vladimir fan, but you know, 1-2 grab. Oh, it was just awful. Bill Haney released the CompuBox stats as well, and it's all going viral around Twitter. And I get he's looking after his son. I get that, and he's saying, look, everyone's saying my son's fight was boring, which, by the way, Bill, it was, and you know it, and you know why. Obviously, you're the closest person to him. But he did make a good point that the Canelo skull was even worse. But, you know, don't start using that narrative to take away from the performance of your son. Come on. Oh, well, look, Canelo's meant to be this pound-for-pound beast legend. Look, well, your son's fight was still dog shit. That doesn't take away from that, does it? So, strange thing to sort of do, really. But
you can't say, well, your fight was the worst in history. Yeah, for CompuBox stats, but don't complain about my son's fight because the next day Canelo beat the record and made it the worst fight.
I know.
There's nothing was the second worst in history. Why is that something to like? Yes, have a go at Canelo, have a go at Haney, have a go at you all. You're wasting my time.
It's the thing is, it's called political spin, right? But this isn't a politics channel. But for example, a government will come out after the last government and go, look at the state they left the country in. I know we fucked up, but look at what they did. It's like, oh, well, that makes it okay what you lot have done then because they did it worse. Well, no, you can do you know what I mean? They're resting on their laurels, isn't it? It's like, well, he done far worse. So, you know, come on. The whole weekend was a stinkathon, absolute stinkathon. No other way to describe it.
Ramirez, he was pathetic. He should retire.
Yeah, I mean,
or don't fight runners. If you can't be bothered to cut the ring off, don't fight people who have that back foot style. Well, that's not back foot style. That's just running away like a coward.
I think part of the problem, and we'll move on in a little bit to Garcia Romero, but part of the problem I want to touch on this is just quickly is the money involved now, right? Turkey bringing an awful lot of money. The big fights are getting made. The big cards are getting made, which is fantastic. But I would rather they didn't happen if this is what we're going to get. Outside of Romero did what he needed to do, you've got Ramirez, Barbosa Jr., which we thought would be the most competitive fight. And actually, that was the widest. Bacoli coming in out of shape. You know, I mean, Chris is going to talk about the Munguia fight in a little bit. These guys are being paid to come in there. They're being paid so much. They've got no ambition to get in there and try and win. Skull, no ambition, right?
Yeah.
Ramirez, no ambition. Barbosa, no ambition, right? Bacoli, to a certain degree, can't even be fucked to get in anywhere near in good shape at the moment because they're all being paid and they're like, oh, well, I'll still get paid and do a job fucking half-mast. So I want to get your reaction to that, Chris. There's too much money floating around. Turkey needs to do something different. Cut their pay, make it performance related, right? So, right, 10 million on the table, but if you don't entertain that crowd and people like poor Chris paying £36 over the weekend, and you don't entertain these guys paying good money, working class people, I'm getting angry now, working class people paying money, and you're going to put on glorified sparring sessions, I'm cutting your purse by 50%. I'm not having it. And something, Chris, something, please. Because we can't have this now, can we?
Exactly. So if we go to it's just, I don't know what, maybe you put in a contract, you've got to land over 100 power punches or you get half the purse. Something.
Well, at least you're coming up with ideas, Chris.
But the last fight on the card, Garcia versus Romero. So if we start with this
where
fight,
do we start?
So Romero, he gets knocked out with one punch by Tank Davis. Yeah. He wins the world title by robbery, where he just got outboxed. Yeah. So and then he gets absolutely smacked all over the ring by Pitbull Cruz. Yeah. Those are his. That's it. That's his form. And bearing in mind, he's only fighting once a year or something, or twice a year. Not very, very active. Yeah. So let's not pretend that this guy is some sort of serious contender. He had a puncher's chance, but he's not very good, and he's still not very good. Just because he beat Danny Garcia, like the fight. So as soon as he got the knockdown, that knockdown, it wasn't that heavy. Garcia just didn't want to know. He checked out, and you give Rolly Romero his credit. However, he did nothing in that fight really. He was jabbing to the body, and Ryan Garcia was scared of them overhand rights. He didn't want any part of them, so he was just throwing a couple of jabs and staying on the outside. And while he's on the outside with his tuck, Rolly Romero's just jabbing to the body, feinting, overhand right, and he's landing a few of them shots because Ryan Garcia's not throwing back. And then Rolly Romero didn't step it up and try and knock it out because he thought, I'm winning the rounds doing this, so why do I need to change it? If it's not broke, don't fix it. So he kept doing that, and Garcia kept letting him do that by circling on the outside, and that's how the fight went. So Rolly Romero, he could have knocked him out. He could have stepped on the gas because Garcia was fucking scared of his own shadow. But he didn't want to risk it. I'm winning doing this. And Garcia was losing the rounds, and he did nothing. I think he should retire. Like, if you're losing, Derek James was telling him all the instructions, get your jab going. He wasn't listening. He was just going out there doing the same thing, circling, moving back in straight lines, throwing the odd jab here and there, parrying, trying, like it's like he was in sparring mode. It was like he wasn't in the fight because he's probably thought, as long as I don't get knocked out, I'll get paid. Or I don't even know what he was thinking. It was the weirdest performance ever because what was he? He wasn't doing it. He wasn't trying to win. He wasn't trying to win, and he was losing. He just got knocked down, and he'd been knocked down heavy when he got knocked down by Luke Campbell, and he got back up and stopped Luke Campbell.
Heavier,
like round 7,
heavier knockdown.
The experience of getting knocked down heavy, I just didn't get it at all. Didn't get it at all.
Yeah, decent roundup, Chris. Only a couple of things to add from that. I'm going to get onto the Osterine in a little bit and the size of him, but I want to quickly bring up something you sent me, Chris, yesterday, which or might have been the day before. Shannon Briggs, he was quite honest, and he said, "Absolute dog shit, terrible." He said, "Where are the punchers?" He said, "No." He said, "Turkey." He said, "There's no punchers anymore." And yeah, everyone's made. That's the thing. Everyone's made out FAir Jagba's a puncher, right? Yeah, he can punch. Yeah, against fucking postmen and binmen and plumbers. Yeah, you know. Where's all the punchers at, Chris? Right? Where are they at? And Shannon Briggs made that point. Like, nobody is willing to commit. Right? Ronnie Romero and Canelo, similar sort of situation. No real desire to cut the ring off and actually to go, do you know what? Bet on yourself. Take Garcia was a fucking lamb for the slaughter in that ring. I had no other way to describe it. He was as weak as fuck. He's clearly, you know, because let's be real, and I know, you know, let's be honest about this. When you're on Osterine, which is a hell of a drug, that's going to give you confidence, going to give you power, going to give you punches, everything, whatever else he's on as well. He is a really good example, even more than Jarrell Miller, because Jarrell Miller still has high punch output off the drugs, still decent, and by the way, Jarrell Miller's a 300-pound man. What fucking excuse have you got, Ryan Garcia? Disgrace. You want to go and be a TikToker and an influencer? You're a good-looking man. You want to go and be a Hollywood star? Well, fuck off and do it then. Because I don't want to pay to see. I was giving you your flowers in the preview with our guest the other day. In my title, you know, left hook from the. Where was all that? Give it. I'm sick of these fighters like letting me down, right? Letting us down. Absolutely, he looked weak in there. He looked timid, no confidence, no desire. Rolly Romero, he was a sitting duck in there, Garcia. Rolly Romero could have stopped him. But I just want to get your quick reaction to that, because clearly, off the performance-enhancing drugs, Garcia ain't the same man. It's like watching two different fighters.
Is my sound coming through? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So,
well, the only thing with Osterine is it's a weight cutting agent.
Yeah.
It's a weight. They're supposed to use it to cut weight. However, it's not a good look that you've moved up to 147, which is what you was at last time, and you've got no confidence, it's just no ability. And Rolly Romero, he was there. If he just didn't do anything. He didn't let his jab go. He didn't move right. He did nothing. Rolly Romero isn't very good, and he's still not very good. And he beat you because you did nothing. He didn't beat him out of Ryan Garcia. It's not like Rolly Romero was shutting him down or did anything good. Ryan Garcia just didn't try and did nothing, and it was pathetic. And he wasn't aggressive. It's like, it's not a good look when you're clean and you perform like that, and then your last performance you was all for it, aggressive, wanted it. You came out swinging and then now you're not on anything. You do that. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all.
I know that was the main agent that came out was Osterine, but he must have been on other stuff, because he looked bigger, stronger, more powerful, even at 140, at 143 against. So he was obviously must have been on other stuff. I mean, I just couldn't get the end right. He just didn't look the same guy at all. But I mean, the one thing I'd say and I understand where you're going, Rolly Romero, but do you know what? Did what he needed to do, did the job. If anyone deserves because Bill Haney's talking about, right, my son deserves a chance now to fucking put Ryan Garcia to sleep now he's not on all the drugs. I think Rolly Romero deserves that fight. Haney, you just stank the place out. But I'll give Haney more the benefit of the doubt, because I can totally understand from a mental aspect why he's done that. He needs to build his confidence back up. So you got to allow him that. I think you got to allow him a couple of fights to. But I mean, Ronnie Romero deserves a chance maybe at one of those kind of another big payday. Like Haley Garcia, like I mean, I'm not sure I even want to see it at this stage now.
To be fair to Turkey Al-Sheikh, the Times Square card, on paper, they were all like all right fights. It's not his fault. These young boys don't want to try. If you like, they don't want to try, man. Like, it's just absolutely. I like that has got to be the worst. That is the worst night of boxing I've seen.
Yeah, I can't think of. We were trying to work out. We were trying to work just a whole weekend in general. The only half decent dust up. I know Riakporhe was fighting. There was other ones, but in terms of the main fights, the only one that was half decent was Bacoli and Ajagba, and that didn't set the world alight. You know, I mean, it was all right.
Before we move off the Times Square card, we've got to give Tio his props, man.
Yeah, how bizarre is this though, Chris? Right, in our build-up, we had kind of Garcia as the most dominant win potentially, and Teofimo Lopez and Barbosa Jr. as the potential upset, and it was the complete opposite.
What I'd like to say about Teofimo Lopez is, this is what he did that the other guys didn't do. So in boxing, you know, when someone's cut the ring off and they've closed you down, yeah, and they're starting to throw shots. Teofimo Lopez was throwing with Barbosa and then stepping. And sometimes he was landing because he was quicker, and sometimes he was getting caught himself. Devin Haney was just running away. Garcia was just having his guard up and running away and letting Rowley jab him to the belly because it probably didn't hurt that much. And stepping. It's like Teofimo Lopez was throwing with Barbosa. Every time Barbosa cut him off and tried to cut the ring off and let his hands go, Teofimo Lopez was like, all right, you've got me now. So he threw with him every time. And then stepped. So that's why he was trying to win the fight. His power, he's got no power at 140. That's a fact now. But he's got boxing skills, some nice showboat. He was trying to win. And he showed a lot of good skills in there. So he might not knock people out, but he makes it exciting. He does a showboat and he's throwing hands and he's throwing with people. He's not just around like an idiot all night and running away, you know. So
I've got one criticism for him though, Chris. Not in terms of the performance. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, after the fight he was talking about the Boots fight at 147. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What is he? Hang on. Let me just try and hang on. You're already struggling to get your opponent's respect power-wise, stepping up to 140. Your skills are paying the bills. We can see that. And you're talking about going up against one of the pound-for-pound best up another weight division to welterweight. Are you having a giggle? Fucking go undisputed where you're at. Like, because you've got Kambosos fighting Richardson Hitchens, right? Fight the winner of that. Right? And then go undisputed at one, which you're more than capable. Let's not start going, because the thing is, they're all getting gassed up because of the money. Old Turkey, I got to 147 to fight Boots if you pay me 100 million. You know, come on. Let's have a bit of reality. I'm sure he said that. I've not got that wrong, have I, Chris? He did say that, didn't he?
No, he did say it. I seen an interview the next day, and he was saying, and like he's comparing himself to Mayweather. He said, when Mayweather was smaller, he rose through the divisions, taking on all comers, and I'm just trying to do that. I don't believe you're trying to do that because, I just believe that you're trying to get a big payday because you know Boots is on the same. Huh?
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. But certainly the best fight of the weekend, I think, probably.
Shout out to Boxing Bros UK.
Thanks, my brother.
Cheers, bro. Thanks.